Bonjour! Aujourd'hui, nous allons apprendre ou réviser le présent en français. We're going to learn or revise the present tense in French. But first, we need to look at three words that are pretty important when we talk about French verbs and French grammar. The first one is called l'infinitif. You probably heard about l'infinitif before. L'infinitif is the verb without any ending or any tense, just the way you would find it if you're looking for a translation in a dictionary. So for example, jouer, manger, finir, attendre, faire, all these words are infinitif. The second one is le radical. Le radical is the infinitive once you removed er, ir, or re from the end of it. So for example, jouer, le radical est joue. Pour finir, le radical est fin. Pour attendre, le radical est attend with a d at the end. And then you need to know about la terminaison. La terminaison is the ending that you add to the radical. And in French, it changes for each person and each tense. So that's what makes it a little bit difficult with French verbs, because in English, you don't really have endings. For the present tense, the only ending you have is an S that you use for he and she. But apart from this one, you don't use endings in the present tense. In French, you have a different ending for each person. Je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, et il au pluriel. So basically, conjuguer un verbe, to conjugate a verb, it's to put le sujet, for example, je, le radical, so that's the infinitive without the er, and la terminaison, which is I for je. And that makes the verb je parle, I talk or I'm talking. So you need those three pieces of the puzzle to have a conjugated verb in French. So now we're going to see the three different types of verbs you have in French for the present tense. When people looked at verbs and how the present tense work, they realized that some verbs work the exact same way. So they just put them into three different groups. The first one is the verbs ending in er. So for example, regarder, se promener, manger, danser, étudier, aimer, nager. All these verbs have an infinitive ending in er, and all these verbs are going to work the same way in the present tense. The second type is ir. Par exemple, finir, choisir, grandir, grossir, agir, rougir, obéir. Tous ces verbes finissent en ir. Et le troisième type, the third type, c'est RE. Par exemple, vendre, descendre, entendre, attendre, défendre, prétendre, perdre. Tous ces verbes finissent en RE et tous ces verbes fonctionnent de la même manière au présent. So to make the present tense, we need the subject, le sujet, je, tu, il, nous, vous ou il au pluriel. We need le radical, so that's the infinitive after you dropped the er, ir, or re, and the correct endings. So for er, it's I, es, I, ons, iz, int. Pour les verbes en ir, is, it, issons, issent. Et pour les verbes en RE, S, nothing, ONS, EZ, ENT. So that's the three columns you need to think of when you write a verb in the present tense. You need your subject, you need the radical, the stem of the verb, and you need the right ending. Unfortunately, irregular verbs don't follow this set pattern. You just need to learn them off by heart. For example, aller, avoir, venir, sortir, faire, devoir, être, prendre, pouvoir. All these verbs are irregular. Vouloir as well, and partir. So they don't work the same way as what we've just seen, and unfortunately, you just need to learn them off. But there is something that you can always rely on. You should know that you always have an S with tu. So there is always an S in all the tenses with tu. There is always ONS for nous, except for nous sommes. There is always EZ for vous, and you can never ever have an S with il or elle. So that's a couple of rules that work every time, even with irregular verbs. But I have to agree, irregular verbs are kind of bad news. We're going to finish up with one type of verb that you probably know already. Le dimanche, je me promène avec mon chien. Le lundi, je me lève à 7 heures, mais le week-end, je me réveille plus tard. En général, je me couche à 22h30. Me promène, me lève, me réveille et me couche. They're all called, you know it? They're all called verb pronominaux, reflexive verbs, verb pronominaux. Literally, it means I woke myself. I get myself up. I wake myself up. I put myself to bed. So reflexive verbs are used when the action is done on yourself. And it works the same way for the present tense and for all the tenses, but there is a little thing that you should not forget. After the subject, je, tu, il, nous, vous, il, you need to add me, te, ce, nous, vous, or ce. After that, you have the radical again and the endings that you already know. Je me promène. So it's just that little word, that little pronoun that you should not forget between the subject and the verb. And it changes for each person. Me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce. So when we have two nous in a sentence after each other, it's not a mistake. Nous promenons is completely correct. It's just the reflexive verb se promener. And for all the tenses, it's going to work the same way. So we're just going to finish up with when to use the present tense in French. In English, you have two types of presents. You can say he eats pizza every Friday, or he is eating pizza right now. Okay, you have the present continuous, he is eating, and the present tense, he eats. In French, those two tenses are translated by le présent, il mange. So you can't say il est mangé. Okay, that is not correct at all. Eats and is eating are both translated with il mange. So we just have one present tense when in English you have two. So that's one less tense to learn, and that's good news. I hope you understood everything, but if you have any questions, as usual, you can just email me. À bientôt!